Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RTA Season 26 Legend Tournament. My name is Evan, and with me at the virtual table, it's Stoic. What's going on, Stoic?
What's going on, Evan? It is great to be here for another legendary tournament to find which 4 competitors are going to be going head-to-head tonight.
Yeah, if this is your first time at the Legend Tournament, it's exactly like what Stoic said. These happen around midnight at the end of the RTA ranked season, and what we do is we take the top 4 players and make them fight for your entertainment to find out who number 1 ends up being. And it's a really fun time, and someone walks away with a legend title and their name in the Hall of Fame.
That's right. I mean, there's a lot of people that we may see in these legendary tournaments before. Some people that may even have one of these titles already as well. So pretty exciting to see what comes to it. And it's nice to have a season wrap up to one of these moments where you get to really see like what was working really well on the ladder, or potentially none of it at all, and it's just straight up tournament play.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we get a nice little wrap up. Usually what ends up happening is that the Legend Tournament is a bookend to the entire season. We get a look at the meta that we've seen, what worked, what didn't work, and this is a last hurrah before the meta ultimately changes in the next season. So with that in mind, Stoic, what do you anticipate we're going to see today? I'm thinking a lot of Cigar, I'm thinking a lot of Miles.
I do think a lot of Cigar, and I do think a lot of Miles as well, naturally. Oliver, you can't help but not see in Oliver, that 33 speed lead still becoming very, very viable. You still see it today, even in the pre-ban phase, during tournaments as well, in their all the regions. But I do think, Wedgette Laura, this is still a thing. You see plenty on the ladder, and you're going to see it a lot in tournament play as well. So definitely kind of expecting to see it if we have players that do own this, and I believe we do have players that own it.
Yeah, and in this last hurrah, here's how we're going to be carrying it out, everybody. So we're going through it in the SWC mode that we all know and love, the one with the pre-bans, where you can't consecutively pre-ban the same monster more than one round in a row. We're going to be going through best of 3, and we're going to have a final of best of 5. Until at the end, we've got our winner. And here's what they stand to gain beyond just the recognition, Stoic. Look at that Battle Angel transmog, man.
Looking at the Battle Angel transmog, it's okay. I actually really like this sealed magic symbol, and I was not aware of how good looking that seahorse was.
Oh man, if I knew there was a seahorse on the line, I would have been here, Stoic. I'd have been in the top 4. If only someone had let me know that I could have gotten a seahorse mount for Elia, I would have made it a priority to be G3. That would have changed everything.
Yeah.
That was the missing component of my game plan there. So we were talking about the meta before. We were talking about Wedgette. We were saying Laura is going to be in here too. I think the multiple occult girl meta, which we kind of experienced a little bit, like actually exactly 12 hours ago. I think that could also be shown here today. What do you think?
I think so. I do think that might be a bit in like a player's realm for them to choose to bring something like that to the table. I do think occult girls are wild if you have them, you're able to wield them well. But it'll really depend on the play style of the 4 players that we have here, especially if they even have one of those units like a Nikki. Because Laura, you don't technically need the Laura to go into this crazy occult girl play style here. I feel like Nikki's the big enabler though.
Yeah, that's true. And for what it's worth, Stoic, I think you wield them very well. We played with them today. You did a great job. We climbed up or down. Who knows? Well, look at this. We got Diligent making a return, man. Do you want to tell us a little more about him?
Oh, I think everybody knows Diligent here. Diligent having a world title when it comes to, not America's Cup, please. For SWC having a world title. I do believe he has some Legend Tournament titles as well. Diligent, very, very strong player, wielding lots of LD Nat 5s, and clearly all the favorable ones that you'll see right here on the screen. Those are very, very big during the season. Of course, man, FH, he's back. This guy is back with vengeance. We see FH inside these Legend tournaments pretty often, it feels. Him actually wielding that light Battle Angel, which, some people dare say this unit may have fell off a little bit. I don't think this unit's fallen off at all. But man, more Wedgette gameplay coming tonight.
Oh yeah, and it's like you were saying, there's 2 really standout units to me there too. It's like, he's got the Oberon that's been banned from him a lot as well, and the Veronica. This guy's playing really aggressive compared to the last one. Now here's Kellyanne Bao. Oh my goodness, I was talking about aggressive. Clearly I hadn't seen the most pick from this entry yet. Maximilian there, Stoic.
I know, Maximilian, really, really good. This is clearly showing like he's been trying to utilize a lot of like A-weak cleaves. You see the Nikki, you see the Maximilian, you see the attack bar manipulation with the... man, I already forgot the Robo's digits here. I lost the digits, but we've got the Yunhong and of course that light battle angel. Like, obviously this guy wants to get into this field and do a ton of chaos here. This is also his first time in a legendary tournament as well, so congrats to him for locking in this position, making it here tonight, and being able to showcase whatever he's going to be bringing tonight.
Yeah, congrats to Kelly and Bao. It's semi-rare nowadays to see new blood in here. Actually, you know, maybe I'm a little over-exaggerating. I think maybe it's been a season since we've seen some new blood. So let's see if Kelly and Bao can really make an impression and leave a mark here. And then there's Vincent, that V that was there in the top 4 as well. So this looks like kind of a fun one, featuring Nefties, Tian Lang that we've seen here before, and of course the wedge at Laura that Stoic and I have been foreshadowing, huh?
Yeah, so I feel like we have seen Vincent in a legendary tournament. I don't think we've seen him in a while, though. But clearly he's bringing some of those big stat units out there. Laura Widget, it's all over the place. Tian Lang, one of the best counter units you can drop on the field. Neftis is a very, very tough unit to come back from if it's able to get a Curse of the Beautiful off there. And clearly, we're seeing just lots of control tonight. So I think what we're seeing is a race to see what units get nabbed up first. Like, you're going to be seeing Laura Widget. They're going to be in the pre-bans. These are going to be units that a lot of these players think are going to be prioritizing. So they're going to be racing to nab these units as quick as possible. But then, is there any surprises, transitions that, knowing, you know, the priority units being Widget, Laura, what will, you know, their fellow opponents going to be taking in these moments?
Man, you beat me to it there, Stoic. That's exactly what I was going to talk about next, is that these people share so many units out of these most picked, most banned areas. So we'll have to see how this plays out in this bracket. So first of all, we're starting off the semifinals with Diligent versus Vincent, and then we're going into FH versus the newcomer, Kelly and Bao. So Diligent versus Vincent. So the first one we looked at, the last one we looked at. That's how the pairing works out. It's number 1 versus number 4, number 2 versus number 3, and of course, those numbers are pulled from the final rankings on the ranked ladder. So back to what you were talking about there for a second, Stoic. These players are definitely going to be trying to steal these high impact units, and since there's only so many to go around, that means that they have to have some secrets hidden in that back pocket. If you had to hazard a guess as to what some of those units could be, what do you think it would be?
I mean, I think one of the people out here, everyone has eyes for right now, is Diligent. Diligent is known to be one of those guys that has a lot of units. Like, this man's got so many LD Nat 5s up his sleeves. Like, there's a lot to worry about, because Diligent can drop almost anything onto the field. It feels like he's just got so much in the tank, kind of like, you know, True Whale's just got all the answers to absolutely everything, and Diligent's going to be fitting that role exactly as well. So look out when you're trying to draft up against Diligent, because when you think you're taking something away, he just still has more things left in the tank for you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how they adapt, because like you pointed out, there's a lot of control being presented here too. We maybe saw 2 of those hypothetical drafts in the most picked sections that looked like they could skew a little bit more aggressive, but of course they do share that wedge at Laura. So we'll have to see what they end up favoring. Now, for your sake, considering it is 3:40 in the morning where you are right now, I hope they favor that more aggressive playstyle, Stoic.
Always. I always appreciate... Listen, guys, it's not just because I really want to go to bed, but it's because I want to see some exciting fireworks out there. I want to see lots of big numbers, big damage. I want to see things get removed from the field, and I just want to see some insane, dominant gameplay. But you know what? We can see that with a little bit of control as well. You know, it's very educational for people who have similar units as well, to try and, you know, showcase these control style of play. Because when it comes to like high volatility, big damage, removing stuff from the field, that's just a ton of rune quality behind it. So it's really tough to be like, oh, I can do that, I want to try that. But when you watch this control style of play, this is easier to emulate than it is to try to emulate these massive damage impacting drafts that some of these players can bring to the table.
Totally. And as we're looking at these control picks too that you're talking about, that we've been discussing, and, you know, barring all the cool big damage units that we're seeing, I'm also noticing who's not there. You know, we've seen a couple units that are not making an appearance. I didn't see a single Shizuka. I actually saw fewer Olivers in those most picked sections than I have in a while. So it's like, what units do you think have kind of fallen off from the strategy here?
I mean, I still think, keep in mind, so this is based off of the ladder as well. So, like, there's no pre-bans during the ladder, so you really get to see, like, everything that they were trying to draft, so it's easy to just slam the LD Nat 5s down. But then you got to keep in mind, we're going into some tournament play style here, where Shizuka might come into play based off of, like, oh, look, they're not drafting any immunity, they're not able to, like, bounce back from what a Shizuka decides to drop all things onto the field here. Or even like an Oliver taking advantage of an opponent who has no immunity as well, because if you're not going to bring anything to defend against an Oliver takes great advantage of whoever lacks the immunity. Of course, applying a 33 speed lead to the team as well. So I think Oliver might get some action. Shizuka might get some action as well tonight here. Heck, we might even see the Raccoon as well. Like, there's just a lot of things that can still come to the table, because tournament gameplay compared to ladder gameplay, it is different, but there's still a lot of great units out there that we did see there that will synergize really well for all four of these players.
That's what I'm waiting for. I didn't see a single rat in the most picked areas over there, and I think that Raccoon is probably got to get some representation in the Legend tournament for the season, because I'd say that he's become pseudo-iconic in RTA just given these last 3 months there, Stoic.
Yep, that's right. I mean, he's been absolutely everywhere and dominating. It's not like, oh, that's really neat, they're utilizing a Raccoon. No, Raccoon's been ending worlds, destroying dreams. It's been quite a show. We've seen it in all the regions so far. Raccoon's been really, really wild.
Yeah, he's disgusting. And I think where we've seen him a lot is actually in SWC too. He's had a really good showing. And something that I think is kind of interesting about this little 3-star that could is that he's also kind of challenging the ways that people tackle threat assessment within games. It's like you got to take out the Raccoon first. And it's natural and it makes sense, but at the same time, it's just a really funny dynamic seeing them go after this 3-star elemental unit that you probably have 99 plus sitting in your storage.
Yep, exactly. It really is, but it synergizes so well. Like we've seen it in SWC where we called it the Holy Trinity, where we look at the Oliver Miles Raccoon. It's just such a powerful combination there, where Miles is built just so tanky and deals so much damage. We see the Raccoon go from like Miles takes turn 1, Raccoon goes and hits it again, but then Miles violent procs, and you're looking at like potentially 3 to even 4 attacks coming from a Miles, and that's already a dead unit. Like, it's crazy what happens just with that combination alone. But you can even look at it the other way, and you could just say the Raccoon into like an Oliver, where Oliver, I would say they're pretty low cooldowns because he's able to generate so much attack buff for himself there, and it really feels like he always has that third skill up there. So it's like at the same time, Raccoon into any of those options there, making that Holy Trinity just so dangerous. So it's pretty crazy, man, watching what that little rat can do.
Yeah, and when you think about, because you talked about the combination with Miles, it's like it's the Holy Trinity, Raccoon, Miles, and Oliver. But if you just take the duo of Miles and Raccoon, like Miles' passive benefits so much off that one buff because he gains additional damage based on how many buffs are in play, and he scales with speed. And what does Raccoon give? The speed buff. This little rat and Miles just were a match made in heaven. I don't want to spoil too much, but for folks who are watching, there's a new video coming out on the YouTube channel tomorrow. It's the top 9 scariest monsters in RTA. And, obviously, I don't think I'm spoiling too much by saying that Miles does make an appearance. And there's this, frankly, terrifying segment where we watch Miles do 10.9 thousand damage on a glance Stoic against a cigar. Like, this monster is absolutely terrifying.
Yep, it really is terrifying, man. It's I want it to stop. How do you make the unit stop? That's what I really want to know. It's it reminds me of like when you see the new like 2A, like a new 2A comes out there, and you're just like, yeah, free to play unit, draft all your nat 5s, do all your nat 5s, and you're like, why am I getting wrecked by free to play? Well, it's like Raccoon is right there, man, ready to wreck free to play all the time. And I do think this is a great tool, great utility for people who don't have much, and they're able to draft a Raccoon and get so much success at it. So a lot of positive things to say about it, a lot of negative things to say about this little rat that could, as you say. Yeah, it's wild and interesting world.
Frankly, it's like I think I'm showing that I really like talking about Raccoon here, but like one of the units that made an appearance a couple times and the most picked was Nefties, and it's like I saw someone joking around, I hope it was a joke, in the chat talking about how perhaps Nefties is deserving of a buff right now because there are so many counters. But there are a lot of counters in there right now. Rakuni's one of them, Juno's one of them, Baramos is one of them. So it's like if you pick any combination of those units, like, you know, the Nefties is probably going to get a little bit hosed. So I would be very surprised if we didn't see Rakuni make an appearance. I would also be a little shocked if we didn't see a Cigar. And frankly, if we didn't see Wedget and Laura get pre-banned in this first game. I actually think if I had to predict the pre-bans right now going in, I'd say Wedget Laura.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. Wedget Laura, looking at it as tournament aspect here, I would say Oliver definitely gets tossed into the mix as well. So like those are big top 3 units to potentially always be in the ban, especially with these 4 people that we were just looking at there. Wedget, Laura, Oliver, definitely in the mix of probably getting pre-banned out there. But definitely keep in mind, you know, for everybody just tuning in who did miss that this is pre-banned tournament style play, not reminiscence of ladder. You know, you might see a little bit of ladder play, but usually when it comes to tournament play, it's 4 players that know each other pretty well. You know, they've been in this rank. They've probably played each other multiple times throughout the season, so they know what they want to pre-ban, but they also know the play style like they were going about with. So you're going to see where they just like change. They change the course and they go down a different route where because your ability to predict is too important, especially when it comes to tournament play. So you're going to see a lot of prediction, maybe even preemptive drafting as well.
Oh yeah, you called it out. I think that's a really good explanation there, Stoic. But the way people play on the ladder is so different than how they play in tournament, especially when there's something like this on the line, because it's like it's a little bit intrinsic with the Legend tournament. I mean, granted, you get the Seahorse and you also get the Battle Angel Transport. You know, I'm mostly kidding, but you actually get your name like firmly planted in a place it's going to stay there. You get in the Hall of Fame of Summoners for forever. And so Diligent, we know, is trying to go for another title. So when something is on the line like that, and you've got a tournament play up against the top 4 players in the world, you've got to bust out something new. So I'm really excited to see what folks are going to be bringing out. I hope Diligent brings something cool for us. And I know that we saw one of the other players. I'm lapsing on which one it was because I saw so much L&D was bringing the Maximilian. So if we saw something like a Cleave, like that would be pretty awesome. Stoic, in order to make a Cleave work right now against the units we've been presented, what do you think that draft would have to look like? What units would be present?
Speed leads, more importantly, your ability to get yourself where you need it to be to make said draft work, like a Cleave. That needs to happen. That's like that's the foundation of it. Is if you're not fast enough to A, get in front of your opponent, and B, make sure everything lands as tuned accordingly. Like that is wild, and that's where you'll see like, you know, ragdolls become toxic. Any form of like trick nemesis build become really, really toxic. The ability to cut in and disrupt it, because Cleave says you have a game plan and it needs to go as such. Kind of like when you watch Annabelle Nikki go off, where it's like, all right, we had a buff, everything's stripped, defense breaks her out, Nikki goes and pops off. So it's like if things don't work in a specific order, Cleaves might not happen for us. So we'll see what happens here.
So just to update everyone before I springboard off that, Stoic. So for folks in the chat as well, we're having a little bit of a delay right now. It seems like maybe there's some technical issues on the side of one of the players connecting right now. We'll keep you posted of the progress on that, and we'll jump into that game as soon as it's ready. So just bear with us here for a second as we try to get that player back on board. Now in the meantime, back to what we were talking about too. So one of the greatest setups for that, for me as of late, has been the Chiwu. I'm wondering what these folks are going to bring into it right now, Stoic. We got Vincent, we got Diligent, locked into the game, firmly planted, technical difficulties resolved. We are going into round 1 of the first set of the RTA Season 26 Legend Tournaments. Wedge at Laura, Wedge at Ragdoll, Stoic.
Beautiful. So when you see Ragdoll getting banned out here, you know they're going to be going probably more on the aggressive side, where they don't want their opponent to be cutting in now. So Ragdoll pre-banned, no surprise here. Wedget being pre-banned, we already talked about this. We knew it was happening. Priority picks here, hovering over a Laura.
Yeah, and the Laura is a really good pick here, especially when you consider they pre-banned the Ragdoll. Vince has got a plan in mind, doesn't want them getting a ton of incidental attack bar. The light Ivor, Stoic, this is a pseudo Ragdoll that gains attack bar at the end of every single turn.
This is a extremely interesting unit. I know it's good. I know it's something that I want a lot of people to have their eyes on this unit. Obviously, being paired up with an Oliver, we knew the Oliver was going to be hitting the table here. Now, if it's like pseudo ragdoll, you obviously know how powerful that Tian Lang is. And it looks like they're going with the double strip and kind of showing why they banned out that ragdoll already. So I'm definitely expecting to see high aggression for the rest of Vincent's draft here out. Diligent definitely taking, he's swapping his footing right now. We're looking at a Juno and we're looking at a Wusa.
Yeah, he did. He kind of swapped it up a little bit here. And so there it is. That's ultimately the question that's being asked right now is Vincent has a lot of setup. We got to see the payoff. Chung Peng is a little, it's a foot in both sides right now. Chung Peng's the setup. He's the facilitator. He's also the payoff stoic.
Yeah, definitely. I think the draft is definitely fine for Vincent here. I do like that sustained draft there. You know what, Juno and Veramos, that might be the way to go, to be honest with you. It's so crazy seeing all the things that Diligent can bring to the table, and we're going to get this free-to-play Veramos at the field.
The Veramos, and then a little ban on the Tian Lang feels right to me. I think those bans feel pretty natural. Speed leads are taken, and I would be very surprised if Laura didn't take turn 1 with that 120 base speed right now stuff.
Yeah, let's see it, because he technically should be. But that is a very fast light Eivor with a big stun as well. But see any Despair stuns? Can't confirm if that's going to be a Despair Water Read just yet. The third skill's happening here. Buffs are coming up. A lot of additional damage, man. Holy cow.
A ton of additionals. That was a statement of an opener right now. And Chung Peng's here to clean up Wusa's third skill right away. Let's see if Diligent can clap back with the skill 2 from Juno, gets the vast majority, the lion's share of the buffs off the enemy team.
Yeah, most definitely. Nice little Despair stun sitting on top of that Laura as well, which is super, super nice. Let's see who Diligent's going to be prioritizing right now. So it is going to be a little bit of damage, not a ton, obviously. And it looks like Nephthys is the unit that he really wants to get rid of, which is quite interesting because obviously we have the Juno on the field here, and we know Juno doesn't mind the Nephthys too much.
Yeah, things are really going well in terms of Diligent's game plan here. Nephthys is reset, which means the pressure is off. The real thing that we're concerned about right now is if Laura was to proc. Looks like we successfully dodged it for now. A little bit of an awkward turn coming out from Ivor, but she still manages to land the defense breakstone.
Yep, there's a lot of sustain here for Diligent. We've got that Juno, we've got that Wusa second skill, so I think Diligent is definitely in an okay place here. Vincent really looking to kind of set something back. I think he just needs like a violence proc, Despair stun or something like that to really get the ball rolling here. But once he loses this Chung Peng, he's definitely going to be on the back foot for sure.
Absolutely. And you saw there too, Vincent had like that opener, the Toy Knight. This was kind of the window to make something happen. Meanwhile, Diligent has nothing but breathing room right now. He's got sustain for days. He's got attack bar gain. Chung Peng's probably on the way out the door here. I think he's weighing the benefit of trying to go for a stun, and the madman gets it.
Gets the stun is insane. He should be definitely finishing off that Chung Peng here. You know, you have an opportunity to take out a unit, go for that, because your Oliver's going to be prioritizing the... It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. That's crazy. Beautiful stun there on top of the Laura.
Stoic, this is the gameplay of someone who knows that he's far ahead right now. Every single move that Diligent's making right now just shows how confident he is. He knows just how far in advance he's playing. He knows he's turns ahead of this guy. He's cycling ahead of Vincent. And he can make these moves, these dangerous, risky moves where he goes for Despair stuns on more instead of confirming kills.
That's just crazy. You know, that's it. You know, call it luck, but you know what? This is just a much safer draft for Diligent. He came in here and brought the correct units, I definitely would say, especially when it comes to having so many things on the table. Like, I think, in my opinion, this is one of those matches where it's like, you know, you thought you could predict your opponent. You thought you knew it was going to be coming there. I mean, Diligent, you drafted some left field stuff, man, that really worked. A lot of them, you know, great counter picks with Veramos to Juno. Even Wusa, you know, I thought Wusa was quite interesting. Then there was just so many beneficial buff removers on the other side of the field and still took the Wusa in there. And,
we can call them what they are, so
well. There we go. Yeah, strippers.
There's brought a lot of strippers. Now, that's the thing, because Diligent just brought... you know, the light Ivor, of course, was such a fun pick to see out of context, right? But cycling through that much attack bar is great. He had room to breathe. that's the part of this sort of RTA, this high level RTA that I love to watch, because you start to see personality shine through even in like just how they decide to play. And then a lot of risk assessment too. You know, it's like, it's kind of like you said, you can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want. In that situation, I call it risk assessment. He saw like my risk level is very low if I go for this stun right now versus going for a kill. So might as well just go for it. I think what Vincent really needs to do, if he's trying to draft something that's similar to that Stoic, I would like to see a more direct payoff, because basically he just brought strip on strip on strip and nothing to follow up.
Yep, that's right. I mean, that's kind of how we felt when we saw him wrap up that draft with like the Chung Pung there, where you're like, you have all of this, all the strips out there, and it's like, what are you setting up for? He just was just setting up for just more strips and lots of attack bar manipulation, but it really didn't work out in his favor, especially where, you know, Diligent had that sustain that he brought to the table there in the form of Juno and that Wusa. So made it really difficult for him to draft and try to figure that one out there, but well done, Diligent. It was a very well-rounded draft for him. New pre-bans getting locked in here. That Nephthys that Diligent was trying to prioritize removed from the field, he already pre-banned it, doesn't have to worry about it. Laura, of course, getting pre-banned as well.
Yeah, you can almost assume that Laura and Wedgehead are more than likely just going to be taking turns in the pre-ban sector. However, look at this. Diligent locking in the Moor right off the bat.
You know, this actually doesn't surprise me, because Diligent for the longest time has been prioritizing this unit in a lot of his drafts as well, and he is a very, very fast. I want to say it's Despair, and it's fast, dude, on Despair. I don't think it's a crazy. He could have a crazy fast Swift Water Rear more, but I believe it is still Despair, and it's insane.
I can't wait to see that. Yeah, for judging based on just the limited gameplay we've seen in this tournament so far, we've already seen Diligent do really well on Despair, and we know that these guys have just the absolute craziest runes available. And this is really something right here. I don't think we called it out in round one, but this is legend versus legend. Both of these guys are fighting for a repeat title right now. So this is there's a lot on the line in theory here. They really want to move forward, and they're probably each other's biggest obstacles.
Yeah, most definitely. Vincent's legend title goes way back, though, like to the point where, you know, maybe a lot of us even forgot. By no surprise, Juno is going to be hitting the field here, of course, with the Volantis on the other side of the field, but I'm sure Diligent definitely saw that was coming. And, you know, what do we say? You know, Raccooni's going to make its way to the field no matter what. This is the meta. This is where we live now.
We were just talking about him. It's been all of 2 minutes since we were talking about Raccooni, and here he is. It's a good pick here. I'm a little hesitant on the Abellio unless we're guaranteed that we're like either getting rid of or we can just circumnavigate the third skill on Chung Pung, because Abellio's main weakness is just that third skill can get reset there, Stoic.
It definitely looks like that Chung Pung's probably getting the ban already, which is very dangerous when you don't even know what that fifth pick is going to be yet. But it looks like that's why he kind of wanted to luck in that Abellio himself, bring a little bit of sustain to the table. I mean, it's an interesting draft on the Veramos. I feel like he's predicting his Juno probably getting the ban, which isn't super surprising, but there is 3 water units on the other side of the field. I think he lets that Juno through with the ban on Veramos.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the ban on Vero, or like you called out earlier, the ban on Chung Pung. I think Chung Pung does offer just a ton of threat in this matchup here, considering there's so much water. And we see the Veramos and the Miles getting rid of the primary damage dealer. Let's see how this one plays out. I'm a little curious. It's almost like they swapped drafts right now, with now Vincent taking more of a supportive approach here. And I want to remind everybody watching, Diligent is sitting at match point right now. We're doing a best of 3 in the semifinals.
Yep, I do think it's going to be a really good response for Vincent here. I got to give him a little bit of credit. You know, I feel like Juno's going to be way too good. I feel like the sustain's going to be way too good for Vincent, but we'll see what happens as this match progresses here and see if everything's going to be landing true for Diligent, or does Vincent, he's able to clack back here, but we'll find out. We've got skills available, just nice little taking advantage of defense break on that Moor.
Yeah, and lots of provokes out there, making sure that Diligent has the room to do this. Did he get the increased cooldown time, Stoic? I missed it there.
You know, I missed it as well, but it just might be the 4 a.m. talking.
It might be the 4 a.m. talking, to be honest. We'll see in a second. We're speculating, but the fact of the matter is we'll see it in 2 turns here. Okay, Volantis sitting on that skill 2. Doesn't necessarily want to dump it because there's so much to be benefited from Vincent just from the healing there.
Yeah, I mean, Raccooni, Juno, Wedgette as well. There's a lot of sustain. because Diligent is in a position where he's landing a lot of negative effects on the other side of the field. And Vincent's going to be healing up here. So it almost, I can't even call it a stalemate because, I mean, almost a stalemate. And the only reason I say this is because Vincent's got a ton of passive healing where Diligent needs to rely on Abelio.
Exactly. I don't think I could have said it better myself. We're in for a bit of a long game right now, but like the writing is almost on the wall here because Vincent doesn't need to work nearly as hard to get his sustain as Diligent does. You pointed out a second ago, relying on Abelio is nowhere near as great as just passively relying on Wedget, Juno, and Rakuni.
Yeah, especially when you've got this strong pump that's able to reset and keep so much attack bar back, where, you know, he pushes all that attack bar and then what happens? Diligent just kind of has to eat it. But yeah, it's I more favor towards Vincent, obviously. But if Abelio is able to proc and, you know, keep up with the healing and everything like that, we could be looking at a stalemate. But we're also looking at a blue water Ryu form.
It's a battle of inches right now. Vincent going for the skill 2, just to go for that AoE chance to get Despair Stuns, and is rewarded on Volantis. And manages to give Wedget the turret cleanse off the defense break, and Vincent Stark somehow is looking like it's the start of the game.
Yeah, he really is. It's just so healthy. Like, a lot of people forget that Wedget even heals based off of the negative effects on the field there, and we've got Cigar in this Volantis going to be providing a lot of that there. Man, yeah, Vincent in full control right now. He's just sitting way too pretty right now. He's not providing a lot of damage. But he's going to be healthy throughout this entire match.
Yeah, he's doing just fine. That Wedget, like you called out, it does just a bit of everything. I mean, attack bar gain, attack bar push, buffs. It does cycling. It heals you. The monster just, he's a real toolbox. And he just accrues value while he sits there, which is frankly one of my favorite kind of units.
It really is. There's that serious matter. Honestly, the serious matter right there is kind of nail in the coffin. Like, if Diligent was kind of hoping for a ball rolling and getting pulled off of Abelio, it just wasn't going to happen there. So, serious matter. Oh, and there you go. It really was. Like, once the Abelio dropped, you knew that was going to be it there. Vincent with a really, really solid victory there. It was a great response going up against what Diligent brought to the table.
Absolutely, yeah. Just like the last one in the draft. Like, Vincent really turned that one around there. I wish that I could say what more went wrong for Diligent, because I want to tell him, yeah, you should have banned the Chung Punk, but to be honest, there's a couple other things in there. It's like, yeah, you need the Chung Punk, but you also need to get rid of maybe one other thing, or tech against one other thing. You need an answer for the Wedget or the Rakuni, something like that. Even a Tessarion would have been great, considering that there wasn't any cleanse on the other field.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like what I wanted to see was some form of, like, even though a lot of the attack power was being pushed back or units were being stunned there, I feel like we needed to potentially see was a Camilla Fire Monkey style of play coming out of Diligent, because we know that is still very, very viable. Those are great units right now, where you don't care about, you know, his very limited damage that he's trying to produce on the field, but you're able to capitalize on moments with, like, Camilla Fire Monkey.
Exactly. Here we go, everybody. We're going into the last round of our first match in the semifinals. Vincent versus Diligent. We will have a winner moving forward to the finals after this game. Here are our last round pre-bans, Laura and Nefties. Those are going to be going away for now. I'm imagining that Wedget is going to be seeing some pre-ban here. I feel like I'm a broken record right now, Stoic, with that, but it's just so true and so deserved. That was a great showcase for it. I'm actually really glad he made it into a game, so that way people can kind of get a reminder for why he should be banned.
There we go. I was going to say, like, I'd be disappointed in Vincent if he was going to be banning out the Ragdoll again, because I feel like that's just not a unit that you really have to worry about. Tian Lang, I think, fits that bill perfectly for Diligent, so banning out the Tian Lang to no surprise. And Light Eivor, like, that's crazy, man. That unit's banned. It was super, super good for Diligent, though. He used it very wisely.
Yeah, it was a really good, it was a nice read on the pre-ban. It's a little obscure seeing it show up in the pre-ban, but, like, if the Tian Lang was getting pre-banned, right, then, you know, it's like you want to pre-ban this thing that you were going to draft your Tian Lang to counter. I don't know if they were able to think through all those layers, but it was still a good one way or the other. There's Wedget Chung, and a quick response from Vincent, drafting the Moore and the Nefties.
Yeah, more Nefties totally fine here. It looks like we're trying to really open up Diligent's team here to get that Curse of Beautiful off with the Nephthys. And now this is where I would expect Vincent to try and bring like something to capitalize off of that Curse of the Beautiful, because I think Diligent here is probably going to go with, you know, showing that he is letting the Nephthys through with draft, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a Juno and Volantis this time.
Nice. Oh, and Vincent, thinking about sniping the Veramos from him, instead opts to take the Raccoony and might just settle on banning 5th pick. I was just about to comment on I like the half in, half out approach that Diligent has taken. He's still very flexible. It didn't overcommit with like a Juno Veramos right back to back. I think he did a really good job with that. Vincent having a little bit of a hard time settling on this 5th monster.
Yeah, maybe it's been a while since he's had some tournament play here, but that's definitely like that. You always see that happen when it comes to people who haven't been super well versed in tournament play, because it's not like the ladder where you already have your game plan. You kind of go in there with it. But Masha Raccoony, I think Masha's very, very good, and we all think Raccoony is a phenomenal unit here. So we have our draft from Vincent and a rag. You know, I'm not a fan. I'll be honest with you. It's okay.
Did you say you're not a fan?
Ragdoll's okay.
It's
not
great
a
here.
Big fan of the Ragdoll. Yeah, it's great here. I don't know. I'm living in a world where I'm tired of stagnant units that aren't.
Wow, listen to that.
Listen
to you. You're so done with Ragdoll, and I find it hilarious, guy. The bans go out. It was a Raccoony ban, by the way, and Vincent, by drafting the Masha, actually answered something that we talked about on the round 1. We wanted follow-up, and now he's got the follow-up. Let's see what Diligent can pull out here. Can he get a couple clutch despair stuns? Instead, he lands a very reliable, hopefully glancing. Let's see if Masha chooses to behave herself in a second here, because usually Mashas tend to crit no matter what, so.
Yep, that's right. Glancing is very, very solid for him to land that across the board as well. His Curse of Beautiful is going to come in pretty strong there, so Defense Break is landing on top of the Chung Pong, but that's for 2 turns. Even with that glancing, we might actually see that Chung Pong drop.
This could be real big right here. This could be Vincent taking the title away from Diligent right now. The glance! She behaved herself! Juno has the chance to turn this into TOA.
Didn't even violent proc there. That's a lot of negative effects. Not getting the full strike on top of that Nephthys either, though. It looks like a lot of attention going towards this lore. We're going to see even more negative effects hit the field again. So not a dismounted Masha. Oh no! Masha was not able to take out the Chung Pong. That's wild.
Every single hit was a glance. I've never seen Masha obey a glancing debuff like this before. We're in a position right now where this could kind of go either way. Diligent has flipped the script on Vincent, and now all these dots are actually putting him in a leading position. Let's see if Moore can get a clutch little kill right here.
Yep, he had to get that kill here. It would have been super scary to find out that it's built on Violent for a skill 2 to drop almost 3 units on that field. That would have been crazy to see there from Vincent, but let's see what happens, because that lore is definitely going to be dropping right now. I think Water Ryu Moore is getting in a position of getting dropped out as well. But that Masha, even though it's dismounted, it's still really scary.
It is. It's real scary. And now he's got a choice. Does he go for the kill / stun? He got it.
Wow. He's able to violent. Wait, what?
Whoa. Dude, this exchange, that exchange was absolutely crazy. The anti-crit buff. This Masha, I've never seen a Masha obey debuffs like this before Stoic. Every hit was a glance, anti-crit was a deciding factor, and Diligent walks away with a 2-1 versus Vincent. That was actually wild.
That was crazy. I think Masha was definitely going to be the unit to bring it home there. It was able to violent proc, but it wasn't critting. Like, that was the biggest. That was so crazy.
And that's the thing.
Actually worked.
We're not used to seeing it with Masha, but like in that situation, every debuff or buff that was in play had value. Now I got to see the replay there, Stoic, too, but I do think that the Masha skill 2 probably should have gone in on the Juno. On that one, we'll have to watch it back. I just, hindsight is 2020. We don't know what's going through Vincent's head, how he does the threat assessment. We'll wait to see what comes through, but like, to me, I think that Juno was kind of priority number 1.
Yeah, that was, man. Nice little revenge at the end, though, to finish off that Masha, too. Like, that's wild, though. But again, super solid drafting coming from Diligent. Don't take anything away from him. I think that was a very, very clean victory there for Diligent, minus that second round, of course, where that second round definitely came off as like writing on the wall. Like, I don't know how that one's going to work out for Diligent, but very, very solid drafting from both these people, both these players. Excellent, obviously having legendary tournaments under their belts as well, so we know how good they are.
All right, everybody, we still have the latter half of the semifinals ahead of us. We'll be right back after this brief break. Stick around. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RTA Season 26 Legend Tournament. I'm still Evan, and that is still Stoic. Presumably, Stoic, we are hot off the first win from Diligent, who made his first step towards potentially becoming Legend one more time, and we still have the latter half of the semifinals ahead of us with FH versus Kel. What did you think of that first matchup between Diligent and Vincent?
It was fantastic. I'm always been a big fan of Diligent. You know, what he brings to the table is absolutely outstanding. And that first match, I think, was a great example of someone who has lots of tournament experience under his belt as well. Like, it's really tough to predict when people have so much, and Diligent has a lot that he offers as well. So the drafts get really, really tough, especially for Vincent there. And Vincent does have a Legend tournament, finish. So, like, we're not talking about someone who has zero experience here. We're talking about someone who's, he knows the ropes. He's been down the road here, but it's so tough to play up against players like Diligent when they draft so well. I wish I could say that for that second match, though, with Diligent and Vincent, because that second match didn't come across as someone who went into this draft and masterfully threw something together.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good call out there, Stoic, because like this first game was just masterfully done by Diligent, and this is the one where we said, like, Diligent has time, Diligent has all the flexibility in the world right now, all the support and the sustain to make it through, makes a few borderline greedy plays to opt for Despair stunning the more instead of confirming a kill on another unit. That is the sort of move of confidence that a player who's ahead makes. Now, this is the second round you were just talking about, Stoic, where it was pretty clear that Diligent lost in the draft.
Yeah, most definitely. It's almost like Vincent took what Diligent did in that first match and did it himself, where he brought a ton of sustain himself, and he just felt super comfortable. He was very, very safe when it came to the Raccoon and Juno. And then again, I'll bring it up again, Widget's passive, if there's any negative effects on their units, that they're going to be healing off it. So there's healing also coming from Widget. So there's just so much that Vincent had to keep himself safe, reminiscent of Diligent's first match, where Diligent felt so comfortable because of all the healing that he had as well, and he was able to get that first round victory. Vincent clapping back there with his own sustain in that second match. And then of course there's our match number 3 here, where ultimately Diligent ended up coming out on top.
Match number 3, and fascinating, but for a reason that like might not be immediately apparent. This Masha obeyed literally every buff that was in play. Even anti-crit was a deciding factor in the game. Look at this. Doesn't crit, anti-crit comes into play, and every hit before this was a glance. I don't think I've ever seen a Masha adhere to a glancing debuff before starting.
I know, it makes me feel like it's one of those Mashas with like 70-something crit rate, but I highly doubt it. Like, that's definitely an appropriate amount of crit rate probably on this unit here. So it's wild to watch anti-crit actually work. It's wild to watch glance actually work. So it's like, everything worked as intended, and it just feels so silly to say that, like to witness stuff working as intended.
Yeah, it really does, because it's like we're not used to saying it. I want to call out something that I saw in chat too, that I reread over the break. Somebody was calling out that it might have been a little less greedy to go for the Chung Pung, and I think that that would have been a good. I'd like to see that game if the Masha had used skill 2 on the Chung Pung instead of on the Juno. And also, I wanted to thank Sean B. I don't think Sean B is in chat, but we got an unofficial raid from Sean B, which is really cool. So welcome everybody who's coming from that stream. So glad you found your way here, and I hope Sean B gets better. I think someone said that he's sick right now, but we're just watching some super sick games. God, dude, that's something I only say because it's late. I regretted that as soon as it came out of my mouth, though.
They are super sick games, Evan, and I look forward to more insane super sick games here, because we got FH and the newcomer here, Kalen?
Kelly and Bao. I've taken to calling him Kel. Taking to calling him Kel in this, but I decided that during the break. After I got some water,
Here we go.
I decided his name is Kel, and of course we're familiar with FH. FH has had a long time recurring run in the Legend tournament scene, and has even walked away with the Legend title in the past too. Pre-bans are already out there, Stoic.
I mean, Ragdoll's getting a pre-ban again, and I feel like that just says a lot about what he's trying to bring to the table. We're going to see a lot of AoE units that FH wants to draft, and doesn't want to have a Ragdoll interrupt whatever he's trying to do. FH taking the Diligent route right now, which is so wild. And then, of course, we already talked about Kel bringing in the Maximilian. We saw that it was his style of play here. Probably with like a Nicky potential. There's the Nicky now, bringing some nice attack up to the Maximilian.
This is pretty fearsome coming from Kel right now. They're threatening a really high damage opener. This is going to be crazy if FH is not able to outlast it. So he's going to have to bring something in to interrupt it, I think, beyond just what Volantis offers with the chance to stun. Oh, flashing the Douglas there for a second could be kind of interesting, but I think it's overkill. Let's see what he ends up locking in there.
I almost really liked the Seimei. I thought the Seimei was pretty nice. I mean, hey, the Seimei is going to be coming back. Wow, we haven't seen this unit in forever. We're actually seeing a CR come in here. Now, this is one of the best daughters in the game where, you know, sometimes these bombs aren't coming through, and that's why, you know, CR hasn't been making such an appearance anymore. We're going to see the Light Eivor get the ban here. Of course, Seimei is going to be getting the ban out as well. There's a lot of dots that are going to be being applied to the field with this Volantis, so to no surprise seeing Seimei getting the ban, giving way too much sustain there for Kel, though. But what we're seeing is like a Diligent 2.0 with a Ciara going up against Kel in this match number 1 here. So this is exciting.
Yeah, check that opener. It's a good thing they banned that Seimei because you wouldn't want that dot on skill 2 from Ciara only lasting 1 turn because that's all she does. Just put a dot on. There we go. Opening turn from Yanhong, getting a nice boost for the team. Veronica, skill 3 and gets the full team increased cooldown time start.
Yep, that's wild. Look at the respect right now going towards CR, being the unit that he's really wants to try and get rid of, and all those hits. Hitting the field for this Maximilian, man. Oh, let's see this damage. So 2.2, I think I might even saw like a 2.6 coming out of that Nicky, so that was some really, really big damage, but a commanding first round victory there coming out of Kel. He's able to drop this Volantis, and there you have it. Just totally annihilates the FH with the power of Maximilian, to be honest with you.
Quick and clean, just waltzes in here and easiest game of his life. You know, Kel just comes right in, has the strategy, but that's what we were talking about, Stoic. We called this out in the pick ban phase. Needed something to disrupt that cleave. I mean, the cleave was so obvious from the beginning. If that Volantis was an Abellio even, well, I'd like an Abellio in addition, to be honest. I have no problem with Volantis. But like, we needed something to stop the cleave, but I'm glad we got to see it. Kel has already made a name for himself right now. That was quite the declaration right there.
That really was. I mean, we saw the big pumpage coming in from Nicky, of course, the Maximilian as well. So a lot of damage hit that field, and it hit it fast, man. I don't think CR was the response there. I don't know if he thought like maybe the 24 speed lead was just a massive necessity that he needed to have, but I didn't see the reason to bring the CR now. So very interesting last pick there when he dropped in that CR.
Oh yeah, I would say that the draft did not necessarily support FH winning that game. Let's see if he can pull it around. And frankly, if Kel can do the same thing again, or if that might just be something that you do on that first round to get the early 1 point. For those of you who are joining in a little bit later, we are operating on a best of 3 setup right now in the semifinals until we make it to the finals, which is a best of 5. So meaning Kel, all of a sudden, the newcomer is at match point.
What? Seimei gets the ban. All right, so I wasn't actually expecting Seimei to get the ban. I was 100% thinking Maximilian, maybe even potentially Nicky getting the bans out here, but Seimei, wow. So he clearly wants to play a lot of Volantis. Definitely wants to play a lot of Widget when he's pre-banning out a Seimei.
Huh. He was really thinking about that before he locked it in. You know, that was one of those pseudo-expressive moments that we talked about earlier. It's because it's like, am I bringing this into anti-crit? Do I care about anti-crit? You know, I saw Masha obey it last time, but is my Maximilian gonna miss crit? We'll find out.
Well, so in the last round, I believe there was a Juno that clearly made it through as well. Oh my God, I'm such a big fan of Kellyan right now. I'm loving Trinity. This. He just wants to bring heat. This guy wants to bring firepower, and I love every bit. No, bring it back! Oh, no! Oh, bring it back.
Kel! Kel was about to become the people's champion right there. What is the Light Eivor is a really cool unit, but like it's so funny seeing it here on the main stage at the Legend Tournament first, before I've actually seen it presented anywhere else. This is crazy. I mean, I love the content pick. This is great.
Definitely, but I also really like Kellyan's draft right now. I think Kellyan's just bringing so much aggression right now that he really cares about the time that I'm going to bed, because I feel like we're looking at a 2-0 right now.
He's trying to make up for lost time. You know, it's like in that game where
I love it.
There was all those support units. It's coming back as a 5th pick, Stoic.
Please, just lock it in. For the people. For the people, Kellyan. And he did it for the people. We get the Trinity through. This is excellent, man. We're locking in double speed lead. We're locking in some serious damage right now. FH has so much to worry about. And I feel like we're just getting Wojjet banned. Yeah, I was like, he doesn't want to have to deal with
this. Is so great.
Like Wojjet's 100% banned.
Oh, Stoic. This is exactly what I love to see at the Legend Tournament. This is like just the sort of bombastic draft. Like, look at these. Look at these monsters. Trinity, Maximilian. We got the Light Ivor picked out of nowhere. This is awesome. I'm loving this so far. Here we go. We kind of know how this plays out by this point. We know that the Yonhong's fast enough to take turn 1. Might go for the boost to try to strip off the Volantis and risk getting punished off that skill 1. Does in fact do it, and the boost is enough to get the Dark Robo in front of the Ivor next up.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's going to be taking it. He's not too worried about it. We're going to watch so much damage hit this field right now. Look at these defense breaks, and look at this Trinity primed and ready. She's coming in to shut it down. Kellyan cares about the time that I go to bed tonight, and I love every bit of this. Kellyan, I am such a big fan.
No way, man. That was awesome. That was so cool. This is great. This is the type of Legend Tournament I'm trying to see, Stoic. That was absolutely pristine, and we know what a great player FH is. So to do this on your first Legend Tournament showing to FH is crazy.
That was, and you see FH, man, in these Legendary tournaments all the time. And we've got this newcomer, came in and just, what a big strong man he was. That was amazing.
He cleaved in the Legend Tournament. This is absolutely insane. I was not expecting to see that pay off 2 times. And the sheer amount of the speed, the proper assessment, boosting just ahead of the Light Ivor so that way Maximilian could push through, because you saw Light Ivor was constantly the next to move. We get that based on that new change to show us like who's moving next in RTA. She was right there, but she just couldn't get enough attack bar to go forward. That was like on the knife's edge right there, but it was so good.
Yeah, it really was, man. I'm so happy that Trinity hit the field. That was so nice to see Trinity actually work there. I like this unit. I think Trinity. I think Trinity in the right place is great.
That was the right place. That was the right place. I think you're entirely right. And honestly, it's hard to say no to a 33 speed lead. But I think for a long time, if you ask somebody what the most niche or less used, it'd be Trinity. You know, the least used 33 speed lead. They'd answer Trinity, but I'm glad that we've got folks like Kel out there trying to show us the truth. I think that was a great showing.
Dude, I'm excited to see what Diligent's going to be responding with, because FH's draft like reminisced of what Diligent was potentially bringing to the table as well. And I feel like Kel's got the number right now, but does Diligent have his?
Yeah, that's the thing, because Diligent hasn't had to deal with this much pressure yet. So that's why we've got such an interesting finals coming up right now, because we know Diligent's got that drafting power. We know Diligent has the presence of mind to work through situations. But what's he going to do when Kel comes in and just puts all this pressure on right from the start? How is Diligent going to adapt to that? So we've got a great best of 5 ahead of us too, because that means that he's got time to figure it out. And for everybody who's joining us too, I just wanted to shout out what was on screen a second ago too. Make sure that if you haven't been watching SWC, be tuning into that. For the first time ever, there's a unique currency that's actually associated with SWC this year called SWC emblems. So just by watching and hanging out as you normally would, you can get SWC emblems and then trade them in the in-game event. And today during the Legend Tournament, we also have coupon codes for you. This is the first of a couple. Third Legend of 2023. You can cash that in and get 2 mystical scrolls and 100 energy. Now this coupon code down here, that is for Android devices. If you happen to be on iOS, we have lovely mods in chat. Thank you so much. Bless you guys for staying up so late with us and doing this. They have the iOS link, so you can tap on that, click on it, just interact with that and whatever your iOS device is, and you'll get those 2 mystical scrolls right on your device. Yeah, Stoic, so let's see, going into the finals, who you got, honestly, between Diligent and Kel?
Honestly, I got to see the first of the draft. I give so much credit right now to Kel, because I feel like FH, who we just took down, is known for having like great rune quality, Guy comes in for legendary tournaments all the time here, so I got to give it to Kel right now. But I need to see what does Diligent bring first draft? What's it going to be? You know what I mean? That's what I want to see.
I gotta see. I'm 100% with you because, you know, a second ago I was thinking Diligent's probably just gonna win this whole. I thought Diligent was the favorite to win, gonna do the whole thing, and then Kel has this amazing surprise for me. So I just hope that Kel can maybe carry it through in that next one. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what Diligent can do to cover that. All right, everybody. Well, we got the finals ahead of us, and what a great finals it is. The best of 5 to decide the legend of RTA Season 26 is coming up right after this brief break. Stick with us. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RTA Season 26 Legend Tournament. This time for the finals, Stoic. This is going to be a big one. We just had a new fan favorite emerge as Kel, the LD Cleaver, showed us once again that Cleave is love, Cleave is life, as said by What's in Love in chat.
That's right, man. That was amazing. The fact that he showed us the Trinity, took it back, broke my hat, and then he went and dropped the Trinity to wrap up his draft, and I was like, chef's kiss. It was beautiful, man. And then it worked as well as it did as well. Like, you just don't often see that. Like, Cleave is not something a lot of people want to bring because it's so super dangerous to bring up against, like, high-quality players. You feel like everybody is able to counter it so well, but FH, was in a boat where he was not able to counter it at all. Like, I'm very curious to hear if he felt comfortable,
And that's saying something because we know the caliber of player. Like you're saying, these are the top 4 players in the world. And FH is here seasonally. He's here every single season. So it's like, I would be very nervous bringing a Cleave into a player like that. And yet he made it work. There was a point where it did seem like maybe that light I4 could have disrupted, but like he was always just close enough. And like you said, Stoic, bringing the Trinity. What an awesome pick. Stoic and I were talking about it during the break, and it's like you pointed out, she's not making appearances at high tiers on tier lists. This is a unit that's kind of like off meta, which is crazy to say for a 33% speed lead, but like that was exactly the big damage that he needed to close it out.
It really was. I think it's even crazier that I feel like Kel's not hiding it. We saw the Nikki in what he likes to draft. We saw the Maximilian, the Yan Hong as well. Like, all of these things are things that he likes to draft. So the man clearly likes to Cleave. So I feel like none of these players in this tournament, FH, Diligent, and maybe even Vincent, that was also included here. Like, I don't think any of those guys are surprised to hear that Kel's coming out here and cleaving. Like, it's shown in what he likes to draft.
Yeah, they may have even encountered it on the ladder. They probably played against it on their way up here. So this is the thing. In the finals, we're shifting from best of 3 to best of 5. So there's going to be a longer time to try to get to know this style of Cleave. So Diligent can try to adapt to it. Stoic and I were kind of throwing out ideas about how you would try to counter this sort of thing, what you could pre-ban to disrupt it, what you could bring to stop it in its tracks. And you said something that I really liked there, Stoic. You said that, the Yan Hong was shown to be obviously like really fast. So it might kind of lie there. The answer might be there.
Yeah, facilitators are definitely things that you got to get rid of there, and I think Yan Hong fits that bill where you got to pre-ban out that Yan Hong. Don't let him have that because it was definitely facilitating the draft to work in Kel's favor there. And then I would probably even go as far to say, like, ban out the Maxi. But what does he have? This can't be the only. Kel's not a one-trick pony, and I refuse to believe he's a one-trick pony because like we saw some crazy drafts come out of this man, but there's definitely more in store in there. And I don't think you can sit there and say, the focus needs to be on that draft, that Cleave, ban the Yan Hong, ban out the Maximilian, and see what happens. Like, I think Kel's got other stuff in store for us. We'll see what happens there. But then also for Diligent is Diligent's play style can't be the same as what FH did, because like we saw the FH draft and we're like, wow, remnants of a little bit of Diligent here. It looks like he's just Diligent 2.0. Well, Diligent 2.0 just got cleaved and 2-0'd. So Diligent can't go in there and play the same style.
Great observation, because that was a commonality between the two sets, is that it really did look similar to what Diligent was bringing before. There was a few differences here and there, but like really it looked identical to what Diligent was bringing. So it got cloven. So let's see. Also, Stoic, I just wanted to say I absolutely love the faith that you have in our boy Kel right now, because you're like, he's got something. He's got a secret. Everything we know about Kel is that this is what he's got. It's like we got the most banned, and then 2 games. It's all free.
He's like, straight up a newcomer in the Legend tournaments right now, and he's coming in. He's brewing a storm for us, man, and he won me over. He won me over with the Trinity. I was so happy he laid it down, and I'm in his court right now. I want to see more of it.
Me too, man. If we go into this finals right now and we see Kel cleave Diligent, I'm gonna be happy. I think this is gonna be. We're in for a really fun finals, one way or the other. And this season 26 Legend Tournament is gonna be one of my favorites. We've seen some absolutely crazy picks, some good gameplay, solid drafts, and really memorable games. Because I think Kel might have just set an all-time record for fastest set in Legend Tournament history.
Yep, definitely. I mean, he's up there with as you brought up before. I forgot the player's name already. Shizzy. Yes, it was Shizzy that I believe before as well in a legendary tournament. It was a legendary tournament that Shizzy ended up winning. This goes back to 2019, I want to say, when he did that. So we haven't seen, matches like this before since all the way back then. So Kel, man, bringing in heat. I want to see more of that fire from him.
Yeah, and we were also discussing what Diligent could try to bring to interrupt the combo, and I was thinking aloud, and I was thinking an Abellio would be really interesting there, but I don't even think, because we'd seen Diligent do that, we'd seen Diligent draft it, but I don't know if the Abellio would have assisted there. But one way or another, folks, we're about to find out how this plays out. We're going into round 1 right now, Diligent versus Kelly and Bao. In this finals for the RTA season 26 Legend Tournament, fans go out. Oh my God, they listened. Stoic.
Yep. I swear. Are we geniuses or what? Like I said it. Jan Hong needed to be the band out. It's facilitator. We've got, of course, the Wajet getting banned out there. We knew the lore was gonna hit the field with that crazy base speed. Dude, he's still going in though. He is still going in. We're seeing the Maximilian. There's the Light Battle Angel. Holy cow.
That was really bold. Like looking down the barrel of a 120 base speed. And he's like, yeah, I'm still going for turn 1. Yeah, I'm still going cleave. That's a crazy declaration from Cal right now.
So it looks like Diligent wanted to lay down 2 speed leads. Took the Nephthys away. Ended up going with, of course, Wateree. We know this unit to be very, very fast for Diligent. We'll see what happens here. Oh, he decided to take it back. Oh. Kel turning around, Nikki ragdolls what he chooses to lock in. I feel like that's not the way, or maybe he really is worried. In a best of 5, I think Kel should have stuck to his guns here.
Yeah, just to test it out. I 100% agree with you. I think just to kind of feel the waters, what's the temperature of the pool like? Just stick the pinky toe in and see what's going on. See if you can actually contest speed, because this is definitely backpedaling. Oh, he's thinking about the Hey Gang, thinking about maybe if he wants to try to cut in or not.
Wild.
So he's half in, half out right now, Stoic.
For a player that is never seen in a Legend tournament before, this is his first time in here, this dude's got units, man. This dude's got units, because we know he's got other stuff in the tank as well. Like, we've seen that stuff get flashed already, but this is crazy. Ragdoll's going to get the ban. We know how good that Moore is for Diligent. That's going to get the ban as well. We still have a speed lead for Diligent here. We still have a speed lead for Kel. 24s on both sides of the field. Do we give more credit to Diligent here? I think so. I would give him turn 1 right now.
Let's go. Can we see? And Veronica does take it with Gianna following right after. Gonna get the increased cooldown time with the skill 3. Gets it on all but the one we really kind of wanted.
Yep, well, Bomb's going to be laying down on top of that. Laura Strips comes out, gets the stun on top of the Nephthys as well. Things are reset. No sleep's going to be happening here. Kel with a great start to this match. Just be ready to see this Nikki. Nikki's not in front of us, which is fine.
Oh, not in front. Not in front. So no attack buff from the Maximilian. That could have been way more devastating if we saw Nikki, but here comes Nikki. This maybe to clean it up. Let's see, and right there we get the yield.
I was about to say this is just as devastating. I was like, if he gets those defense breaks, Nikki cleans up. But if Nikki went attack buff first and then into Maximilian, I think it's just as devastating. So that's like, come on, dude.
Just
what did we say? He should have stayed committed. He should have stayed committed with it, not backed up. Ragdoll gets laid out in the field.
Oh my God, dude! This is actually wild, Stoic. I'm so glad we get to watch this. This is crazy. Yeah, people in chat are going crazy right now. He just got wiped. Earlier too, by the way, Once in Love broke down the map. He was like, that's 8 LDs in the pick ban phase, and 2 got pre-banned. Like, we were so close to a full LD draft. This is the sort of thing that I love to see in the tourneys, in the legend tournaments. This is pretty cool. Great. This is my favorite legend tournament in a while. Very well played, obviously from Cal. This is great.
So what I think we need to see out of Diligent is I feel like we need to see. So think about the units that Cal didn't want to play up against. He already pre-banned. Pre-banned on the Wajet, no surprise. Bans out on the Moor, so Water Ryu, bans that out, eliminating 24 speed lead, eliminating something that's able to cut if he hits some procs passive, then Moor's going to be cutting in after that. So those are the things that he doesn't want to have to play up against right now. What I think we need to see from a Diligent is probably locking in a 33 speed lead, not a 24. Get that 33 because clearly Kel's playing with 24 speed leads. So I want to see some Oliver play coming out of Diligent. I want to see some Sekhmet. I need to see some high speed disruptors. Hagang, I think, is another one of those units. I think that's what needs to hit the field because right now Kel doesn't want any of those instant turn counter picks right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And like that's the thing. I don't think it's like how Diligent wants to be playing, but I think something like a Hagang, something even like a Vanessa that can bring something back. Although I don't think that would bring back something with enough HP to withstand the second round of combat. But like he needs something like you just suggested. I totally agree with you. So we got the Ragdoll out one more time. We got the Laura out again, but we already know the Veronica's speed. We know that the Veronica takes this with the speed lead. So let's see what Diligent wants to bring. There's the Wajat that he didn't get to bring last time. We'll see what his second pick is here, Stoic.
It's got to be Oliver. That's not an Oliver. Wow, I was going to say Wajat Oliver is what I really wanted to see from Diligent. I think that's just what he had to lay down on the field. Looks like Chung Pung's going to hit the field again. But I feel like he's opening himself up to the exact same draft. Maximilian's going to hit the field with probably a Nikki.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's bringing that same thing because there's no pressure yet. There's no pressure to change what he's been picking. This plays into the sort of cleave comp that Kel's been showing us this whole time.
Yep. So there's two units right now that Kel has to worry about, Wajet and of course that Moor. So it's not over. Oh my God. Yep. Facilitator, that Yan Hong's got to get banned out. I feel like that's one of the main things that you got to ban out here. So
I like happens. The Yan.
Pontos field has an additional speed lead.
Yeah. Same aim.
Oh,
wait. Hold on a second. Are we getting too safe? Kel knows how to play this, right? Like he knows his box better than I do. But like right now, that's getting a little too safe. We know the Moor is getting the ban if history is to be believed, right? We know that's getting banned out if Kel is staying true to his old ways. But we'll see.
I like Diligent's draft in this one. I think Diligent drafted really well here. He's got plenty of strips. He doesn't have to worry about that Ponto, so I don't think that's necessarily going to be one of the bans here. I feel like you just don't want to play around with Nikki and Maximilian, but it looks like Veronica is going to get banned out here. Veronica's a big problem unit for sure, so definitely makes sense. Chung Pung's going to get the ban. 24 speed leads for both players here. How fast is Kel? Because we know that Moor is quick.
Okay, let's see. We got it. The Moor takes the turn one away from Kel for the first time in his entire admittedly short Legend Tournament career. He loses turn one, and Pontos is quick to put up that invincibility and immunity on the team to safeguard from all of Nefty's wrongdoings.
Exactly. That was really, really perfect that Pontos was able to take that turn right there. No damage is going to be coming in through here.
This is, absolutely zero damage. Same as just taking her time, can proc the more passive so that way Maximilian can set up defense breaks and Nikki can capitalize. This is, Kel's up here playing chess while the rest of us are playing checkers. Like this is absolutely, look at this. Here comes the defense break setup. He saw this. He's like, I'm going to buy time for the first couple rounds of combat. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing that I've been doing this entire tournament. Nikki to clean it up. It's so good. And it doesn't get old.
Clean it up.
It's not over.
Just you don't even need to heal. Just clean up units, man. Oh, Kel. Oh, I am your biggest fan.
He's like, the rest of these turns are mine.
Oh, my
God. That was so well played. That was so well played. Admittedly, I didn't, I'm thinking he's taking a step back. I'm thinking he's like backpedaling. But what he's doing is he's buying time. That's what he's doing. He's just waiting for Diligent to get out of the immunity. He's like, I'm going to be safe. And then I'm just going to do the exact same thing.
Why is he? Why is Diligent banning out again? Like here I am just trying to just discount Ragdoll. I'm thinking Ragdoll's some terrible unit, but it's like Diligent puts so much priority on Ragdoll as a ban. He's still giving the bread and butter right to Kel here. Kel's getting everything that he wanted through.
I got a question. Where's this guy been? Like, how have we not? Like, how have we not seen him here before?
Yeah. Who is he? Kel? Who are you? This is crazy that you haven't been up here. Like, did your ladder climb not go well for years? Because it doesn't. Yeah. You don't, even 1 year of spending gets you everything that he has right there. Like
was he missing?
That's crazy.
Was he missing a component? Maybe like perhaps. Maybe the Ragdoll, or not, excuse me, I'm misspeaking. The Maximilian could be new, like something like that. Maybe he was missing a key component of this combo. I don't know, but I'm excited that he's here. One way or the other, I don't care. You know what? Forget it. I don't care where he's been. I'm happy that we found him. I'm happy he's here this time because he's making Season 26 Legend Tournament super memorable for us. Like, he's showing us crazy games.
He's rocking the boat, man. This is
he's
wild,
rocking the boat.
Man.
Yeah. For real, and he's drafting Seimei too. He's the people's champion.
He really is. He really is. We've seen Seimei, we've seen the Trinity. This guy's bringing out all the stops right now. I'm just blown away that this is happening right now. Like, is this gonna be a 3-0 cleave on Diligent?
Against Diligent would be insane. And we've got a lot of suggestions from the chat right now too. People calling out saying like Ragdoll instead of Nikki. Like, you know, they're questioning this stuff. They're saying what else? Hey, folks in chat, this is potentially the last
I'm gonna throw my headset right now. Diligent banning out a Pontos. In what world do you ban out a Pontos right now when you're drafting 4 strippers on this field and you're worried about a Pontos?
I don't know. Stoic, I don't know what is going on. I don't know if Diligent's having a difficult time adjusting to this or what. He picks the Laura to try to contest the speed. This seems to be the only thing. It seems to be the only thing that he can think of to take it. And we're actually seeing a pivot from Kel right now.
Is Kel throwing?
You know, I don't know.
I immediately think
Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. We're 2 picks in. Let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on. What I'm trying to figure out is how he's going to turn this into a cleave, because we know this is going to end up being a cleave.
I mean, if we saw Nikki and Maximilian hit here, oh Jesus! Is there still something wrong going into Diligent's draft right now? I think Nikki Maximilian still works. There's just nothing. There's nothing wrong with that.
Might be nothing wrong. The Hey Gang, yes, we called this out too. We said this. We were talking about how Hey Gang can potentially cut in. It's a great counter to the Gianna.
If Diligent's gonna draft the Cigar, where's his speed lead though? Like, is he confirming that he's banning out the Maximilian already? Like, what if another speed lead gets dropped by Kel right now?
Diligent's like,
we already know how fast that unit is. We already know how fast that unit is. It's 100% ban right now on the Hey Gang, and Kel takes turn 1, and poor Diligent. Yep.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Hey.
I'm gonna
head to bed, Evan.
Yeah, he's banning Hey Gang for real. There we go. The bans go out. Hey Gang's out. Stoic, yeah, go ahead. Go to bed. We got it. I shouldn't say we.
Boys.
Kel's won all of our hearts, right?
Damn, man. All right, let's put it all together now.
Let's see what happens. Crazy. I mean, Tion Lang actually might cut in here with the attack bar.
Dude, we already know that Nikki's going to cut right in here. Nikki's just going to go in right after the Maximilian landed all these defense breaks. Here comes that third skill. Laura's down. Shizuka's down. Like, any violent procs? Is there anybody going to stick around after this? No. There's your 3-0. Congratulations, Kel. That, like, just... The writing was on... It's... Great job, man. I get to go to bed.
You banned Hey Gang, you win. It was right there. GG, well played. Folks in chat, everybody saying good night. Good night, y'all. Everybody saying good night.
Wow.
3-0 cleave against Diligent. Kel is our legend for RTA Season 26 in his first Legend Tournament showing, and he comes in here and he cleaves his way to the top. He plays 5 games, each one cleave.
It was a 5-0. He got a 5-0 cleave in a legendary tournament. Man comes out of the dock. Like, where did Kel come from?
I don't know, but I'm so glad he's here. That I love the reaction from chat right now. This is so great. What a fun way to get a new Hall of Famer. Man, I'm going to remember this one for a while. Kel is the guy that cleaved his way all the way to the top, man. Like, he kept climbing. Stoic, he was climbing on the ladder, and then he just kept climbing through the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy when your wings are that quick. Like, dude,
yeah, he's like, nobody told me the
imagine
season
what
was
he looked
over. I'm still just playing my wings. No one told me the season ended. I'm just cleaving.
They said to cleave, and there he goes. Like, I'm so curious. Like, does he have a Wool Young in store as well? Like, there's just so many great units that Kel could have to just better himself. Like, all right, you know what? Kel doesn't need any more. Kel doesn't need any more units. He's all fine. He's fine. He's got it all. He doesn't need anything else.
Man, we saw all those.
Just,
and he's got the best. He's got the best. He's got the synergistic ones too. What a cool combo.
He's got the best, Evan. He just beat the best. Like, Diligent's
he just
known
beat
to
the
be
best.
So,
And you know what, Stoic?
so
For this
insane.
season, he is the best. For this season, he is the best. He's number one. Like, he made it. He's in the Hall of Fame.
In a world
so cool.
where Laura Widget owns it, Evan. Laura and Widget owns it, and this man drafted neither.
Neither. You're so right. Neither of them. And folks in chat, this is the kind of Legend tournament we love to see. If you want to watch more competitive Summoners War gameplay, we are in the middle of SWC 2023 right now. We've got the Europe Cup up and coming. That's the next one happening on October 7th. We also have the Asia Pacific Cup to look forward to, and of course the World Finals that are happening later this year in early November. So make sure you're watching. We talked about it earlier in the stream too, but this is the first time that SWC has ever had a unique currency in the SWC emblems. You can collect them just by doing what you're doing here, watching the tournament with us, and then you just cash in on the coupon codes and you get the SWC emblems, and then you can exchange them in the shop for cool stuff. We'll do the Legend scroll together. I keep getting impatient buying other stuff in the shop. We'll do the Legend scroll together sometime. It'd be so cool. But yeah, so back to what we were talking about. Kel's made a name for himself in his first tournament ever. I couldn't be happier. And that's the sort of draft that I love having this be the forum for a full LD cleave.
Yep, I as well. You know what? I think I owe Diligent an apology. I'm pretty sure I yelled at it. It's so late, so early in the morning that I think I yelled at Diligent for drafting a Pontos. My bad. I don't mean to yell at you, dude. You know, your decisions were made. And
wouldn't be the first time you yelled at a player
but,
in the middle of the tournament. Poor Spires probably sitting somewhere watching this. Hey, everybody, we got the coupon code at the bottom of the screen, by the way. Make sure to type that in, okay?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm not even going to give a shot at this coupon. It's SWC EU Cup
Cup in October.
Yeah, that was a quick read right there. Got it.
I have the benefit of being 3 hours behind you. That's how I got that one. SWC EU Cup in October, everybody. Get your hand on a full suite of elemental scrolls plus 200,000 mana to summon it. I want to repeat again that this code is for Android devices. However, if you happen to be on iOS, that's what our mods are here for. I just saw Come To Us Havoc in chat. Pin the second code to the top there. You can just interact with that link on your iOS device, and you'll get that full suite of elemental scrolls hand-delivered into your account. That's great. Maybe my cigar's in there. Who knows? We'll find out. I'll interact with that in a little bit, Stoic.
When you do pull a cigar, make sure you draft a speed lead with it. You know, like someone probably should have done tonight.
I will. You know what? I think that sounds good. Yeah, poor Diligent. Diligent did great. Diligent did a great job, and then just couldn't adapt to the cleave. Did a great job in the first set, and then in this one it was a little bit tough to, and I get it. I gotta say, Kel he did a great job of adding a little bit of flexibility to his cleave, like the one where he drafted that Pontos. Like, he was like, I'm just gonna buy the time, I'm gonna wait it out. Here we go, everybody. We got the highlights from that last round there, or rather the last set on the finals of the season 26 Legend tournament. And look at this, we see this 3 times. That's what happens with slight variation.
And as soon as you saw Maximilian land defense breaks, it was over, because you knew how close behind that Nikki was, and Nikki's tuned right there. Look at this. Defense breaks? Who's next? Nikki. Nikki just sends everybody home.
So good.
Wild.
Everybody's going away. And that's the game that I really liked it, because I liked that he was able to splash in these sort of bruiser-y monsters in the form of Pontos. and Say made these sort of staples to something that's going more mid-game, and all he's trying to do is just buy time in those one opening round where he's like, okay, I'm probably not going to get turn 1 in this one.
Yep, exactly. Even Ragdoll came in handy here. That unit made a little bit of use
Ragdoll.
Here. Oh my God,
he got a kill. His passive didn't come into play, but...
Look at this Nicky damage. Yeah. Look at these numbers.
Oh,
3.6.
I love the big damage number. See, look at that, Stoic. Yeah, Ragdoll never got a proc from his passive, but he did damage. He was there.
Yeah, I'm sure he stood there. He was proud of that fight. He definitely was. We didn't need him though.
Yeah, he saw it happen. He saw it happen. The concede happened after he swung the axe, so that was great. Man, what an impression! I can't wait to see more of Kel. I hope he makes an appearance again in future Legend tournaments. I hope he wasn't just like a one-hit wonder for this one. I hope he has interest again to try to climb and get a second Legend title.
In SWC, I wanna see this man. That's what I want to see. Not just these Legend tournaments. I'd love it if this dude goes and claims every one of those. Because if that's how it's gonna be, I'm gonna be here making my nights way easier. If he's gonna
Let's
be here
bring a little
cleaning up
cleave
like
in
that.
SWC. That and mix it up a little bit. Throw a wrench and stuff. Make people have to jump through a few hoops. That was pretty great. we got Baron. Oh my God, we're gonna see this cleave everywhere.
Oh my God, I don't look forward to going up against that, but I need to get my pseudo Maximilian. That has speed lead. What unit has speed lead that does what Maximilian does? I need that.
Dude, I want that unit. There we go. Look at this. That's the bracket that we just watched, everybody. It seems so fast looking back, right? We saw Diligent make his way to the finals and ultimately get shut down by the first timer, Kellyan Bao, who had already cleaved the likes of FH, multi-legend tournament appearance FH. Cleaved him all the way 5 rounds straight through to the finals, and now he's the legend summoner for season 26. And his name is going in the Hall of Fame. So anytime you want to pay your respects to this amazing Max Cleave, you just want to go back in and say, wow, I was there. I witnessed history. You can go into the Hall of Fame and check it out. And that means, Stoic, Kel also gets the Seahorse for Elia.
Oh, yes, he does. Riding that horse to victory there. I mean, it's... what a well-deserved victory for Kellyan. This definitely is going to be one for the books, where you'll always remember this legendary tournament where he came in 5-0, cleaves right across the board. So clean. And even to how clean the drafts were as well, where, yes, it came down to Maximilian Nicky just really capitalizing and cleaning everything up there, but there's still 3 other units in there that really changed things up and made your opponent think, where Pontos somehow made his way into the pre-ban because Pontos was a problem. Ragdoll made his way into a pre-ban. Apparently Ragdoll was a problem. And the true problem came down to frigging Nicky Maximilian. If it went through, man, it worked. It worked so well.
That's the real question. Why didn't one of them get the pre-ban? Can we just talk about that for a second? Why didn't one of the payoffs make him think a little differently? We saw he had Han back there, but I can't help but notice that Han is a single target damage dealer. Make him swap to a snipe comp for a little bit and just make him think outside the box. I think that there was room to try to pre-ban something else just to get Kel out of his comfort zone. But that's something that Diligent is going to have to reconcile later on.
Yeah, the Yanhan was a perfect thought though for Diligent. When he pre-banned out that Yanhan, I thought everything was great. But I think what we needed to see was a Sekhmet Oliver 33 speed lead. You were able to really take advantage of that because Kel was only drafting 24 speed leads, and we know how fast Diligent is. It should have been Oliver, Water, Ryu, Sekhmet. That's your foundation, and then build off it from there based off of what Kel decides to draft there. But I am nor here nor there, quality of a player as these guys here. So it's easy to say, those are the 3 units that I wanted to see. Maybe they would have worked, maybe they wouldn't have worked. Sekhmet, maybe Diligent's not a fan of the Sekhmet gameplay where whether you win or lose is based off of that very first turn.
Yeah, I think that might be what it is. Oh, and Havoc saying anybody above Fighter 3 gets the Seahorse. That's not the point, because the point is we found our legend for this season, chat. You were here to watch it. We were all here. We witnessed history. And Stoic, I love doing it with you, man. It's always a pleasure to cast.
It's always a fun time, man. I love doing these, love hanging out with you. It's so easy to cast these, even though it's 5 a.m., dude. You just make it so much easier to cast together, dude.
I love doing it with you, man. It's so fun casting these together. And chat, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all had a great time with us. We'll see you for RTA Season 27, everybody. Have a great night.